us with a recording using the phone.
This is Harold Zawatsky. This hearing is going to be recorded and it is also available in real time for the public. So, gentlemen, I would request that you speak clearly, loudly, and direct your voice to the phone so that the recording can be heard. And this is the outcome of executive orders in the COVID world.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate it, Harold.
All right.
So you must be Peter.
I am.
Hi, Peter.
Yeah. So, Peter, why don't you sit here and I'll explain where we're at. Apologize for dealing. That's okay. We're covered. Mr. Lane has 5 appeals, and I don't think each one is going to take a full 15 minutes.
No, they won't.
Okay. So we're happy to group them together so you don't have to make multiple trips.
Okay, that's nice. I trained you well.
Take your time. So while you're getting ready with your note-taking, I have a few more items to bring to you. Yes, Mr. Lane. We'll get to that in a moment. We need to
Pull two,
identification first.
So, does your friend live on Fairfield Beach still?
He does.
What's his name again?
Warren.
What's his last name? You know?
Rafa.
Oh, I think I remember the last name. Okay.
He lives
Peter,
on...
I'm going to give you some of these extra ones.
Okay.
You want to complete this as you go.
Okay.
You should find one of these. I guess you have 5 here or more because you have
11.
Well, you'll need one for each file. Fill them in accordingly, and they should match up with your PO number that you have on the folder. Here's a copy of script.
Sure.
And I think if you follow it down, it's the easiest way to do that.
Sure.
Your phone is on record. As long as you see these green lights here, you'll know that it's being recorded.
Okay.
Indicates recorded, and you're on lecture mode, which means that only you can be heard by the public. All right? So why don't you begin with the order of the script? I think would probably be the easiest way for you to proceed. And this is your schedule for today. Your first appeal is number 514.
514, yeah.
All right? Okay.
So, all right. Welcome. I'm Peter Rupert.
Good evening.
I'm one of the 9 members of the Board of Assessment Appeals. I'm going to hear your appeal today. Your hearing is also being recorded. I'm going to state a few things for the record, so please correct me if any of this is inaccurate. Are you ready? So, your appeal number, this first appeal, is number 514.
That's correct.
Okay. And the property address is 1084 Fairfield Beach Road.
That's correct.
Okay. And the owner of this property is Betsy BSTY LLC.
That's correct, and the owner here, Bart Gramercy, is the...
Bart Maritime.
Okay, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
As co-owner?
Yes. My wife and I.
I have a agent certification signed by Bart for me to act as his agent. So he's here to
So how do we
assist us.
I wanna, do I just go?
You can add that to the file.
This is for you.
Whenever you have somebody representing the owner, they should have an affidavit.
Right.
And Mr. Lane has presented the affidavit, which will be added to the file because he's speaking on behalf of the owner. And also, Mr. Lane should be sworn in, but since he is appealing several properties in succession, he only needs to be sworn in once. If he were an attorney, he would not have to be sworn in.
Okay. I guess my actual question was about the protocol of going in and taking that document.
I could meet you halfway.
You can leave it on.
I don't want to be.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Bart.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Okay. And
I know it's not.
We have sufficient distance here.
Yeah.
Hopefully you feel comfortable and
I'm
the
fine.
hearing officer feels comfortable.
I'm fine.
All right. So, the town has your property appraised at $886,400.
Yes.
Okay, and you are requesting that the town reduce your appraised value to $785,000.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Starting time here. And again, I apologize for the delay.
It's okay. We were all nice and warm in here. It's okay.
Right.
I've been in here other years where the heat isn't on. That's why I wore wool, and I wear wool because you never know what's going to be like in here. The Bart's got his big coat on. I warned him. It might be cold in here.
So it's Bart, B-A-R-T, and then M-A-R.
G-H-E-I-M.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right, so let me just swear you in, Craig. Okay. I guess I swear both of you in, right?
Yeah.
So,
Raise your hand.
okay. You raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So have you got?
I do.
I do.
Okay, and so just for the record, Greg, will you just state that you are the owner? State your name and that you are the owner.
I am the agent for the owner.
Okay, so you're the only one that's going to be speaking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then if you would just state your name and then that you're the agent.
Sure. Gregory Lane, L-A-N-E, business address, P.O. Box 578, Southport, Connecticut. I'm a state certified full-time real estate appraiser.
And we have an affidavit in the file that gives Mr. Lane the ability to speak here today at this hearing. Okay? All right, thank you.
So I have two appraisals of the property. Thanks, Bart. Thank you. That are pretty self-explanatory. Those are for you. You can keep those if you want. I do have an envelope. Do you want to put them in there?
Sure.
Okay. You put those in there.
You've done this before.
Yeah, I'm ready to retire. And first of all, I just like to take the opportunity to thank you for your time for being here, because we know these are not normal times, and we know that you're not being compensated at all. So I just like to thank you for being here, and I know that it's not going to be a real easy process because you have quite a few tax appeals here. So again, I just want to thank you for giving us your services and your time. So that the beach properties, we can just go through the appraisal. It's pretty self-contained. The cover page is a picture of the front of the property, and I'm going to just tell you quickly about the property. It's a single-family structure. It's not on the Fairfield beach side. It's on the creek side. And if you want to know exactly, I have a location map, which is on page, it has the comps on there also, and that would be the first location map. That would be on page 13, and it tells you the property is on the beach, but it's not on the Fairfield beach side. It's on the creek side. So, I'm sorry, back again to the actual property itself. It's a single-family structure. The site size is approximately 10,890 square feet. It is in a beach zone. It's in a flood zone. And the property was built in or around 1900. Is that right, Bart? Do you think
Yes.
right around there?
Yes, 1900.
I'm going to have Bart fill in for me if he has certain features that I'm not fully aware of. The room count, there's 2 bedrooms, there's 3 full baths.
No, it's only a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
2 bath. I did fix it.
You did, okay.
Right there. So there's 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. The square footage is about 1,520 square feet.
I'm sorry, 1,520?
Yes, and that's on page 3 of the, I'm sorry, not that, it's probably more like page 5 is the first page of the actual appraisal telling you about the property. And if you want to, we could, about halfway through, there are photographs of the property. It shows the kitchen, the family room, the bathroom, there's the dining area, and then with the bedroom too. There are 2 full baths, which are there in the property. And the best comparable is the one next door. So the subject property is 1084 Fairfield Beach. If you look, I believe, on page 6 of the appraisal, the first comparable is 1094 Fairfield Beach Road. And it's right next door to my subject. They did do some work on it, so it's in a little bit better shape. And though what I do want to do, I apologize, I want to back up a little bit, because as we all know, the marketplace has been, there have been a lot of sales and the prices have been going up in value. I did recognize that in the appraisal. And on the first page, about a third of the way down, it's not the very first page of the appraisal report, I believe it's page 5, but it's the first page of the actual, of the report. It states that property values are going up. And what I did, and it states on there also, I used a positive time adjustment. And this is important, Peter, because when you talk to the board, I want them to know that I did a positive time adjustment to all my comps at a rate of 12% a year, which is 1% a month. So that's to tell the reader, being you and the people on the board, that I am aware of property values rising, and I have acknowledged that, and I've made adjustments in the appraisal. If you go to the next page, and if you look at the date of the sale, what the
Which page am I on right now, 5?
The next page, so this will be page 6,
Okay.
all right, with the comps on there. And if you look at the date of the sale on the comps, you'll see afterwards there's positive monetary adjustment after that. That is to reflect the increasing market. So I'm adding value to these properties, which probably most people won't be doing because I do work for the banks 10.5 months out of the year. So this is what I do with the banks full time. I am adding, it isn't every town, every kind of property, but in general, you can determine upon the different property types and different towns and also different price ranges how much the values are going up. So I do want to, that's a major point that I want to point out to the board, that I am making positive time adjustments based upon the increasing marketplace, okay?
And where that's the, on that 1094?
Yeah, that's where it says plus 52,500. That would amount, so let's see, the sale was at 6, so I did my time adjustments starting April 1st, 2020. So that's the beginning of the second quarter. And I extended them to the end of the revow, which was the 10/1/20. So it's basically 6 months of market appreciation. So that would be from April until the end of September. So this one here was in June. So the 875 times 4%, that's where I got the 52.5. Because if you go April, May, June, I'm sorry, you get June, July, August, September, that's your 4% market appreciation. And it's pretty straightforward for the rest of them too. You can see the second comp on Fairfield Beach, that was at 2%, because that sale happened the end of July, so it was just the market appreciation for August and also September. And then the next comparable, that was in August of 2019, so that was a whole 6% of the 700,000. And it should also probably be noted, I did listen to part of the audio podcast that was done by the revaluation company, and I did hear Mike Fazio, the head of the revaluation company, when he was doing his search process for comparables for the beach, he expanded his search parameter to go back to January 1st, 2019. That's very important because typically they just allow us to go from 10/1/19 to basically 10/1/20 as far as getting sales.
All right, you say that one more time. What was the date that
he expanded the search parameters to January 1st, 2019.
Okay.
And I think it was more properties down on the beach. And I'm sure he didn't expand the parameters because he was finding too many sales that were too high. I'm sure he had to expand them because he wasn't finding them high enough. But I did make market time adjustments. And again, the value of the property is just based upon the sale next door. The best comp is the 1084 Fairfield Beach. And
1094?
1094 Fairfield Beach. So that's the best sale. And I didn't try and lowball it because I made those positive time adjustments, which did help bring up the value. So I just want the board to be aware. And after all the years that I've been here, most of them do know me fairly well, and they know that the way I operate, as far as just being fair. That's why I keep coming back, and I do okay here. Other than that, I don't want to overwhelm you. Do you have any questions, Peter, or Bart? Do you have anything that you'd like to add that you think I'm missing, or?
Not at this time.
I mean, just one question I do have, though.
Sure.
So on 1084, it says that there's 5 total rooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 baths indicated on here. So I guess I'm looking what the discrepancy is.
So it's 2 baths. So the house is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
And then
There's no fireplace. I know the property card says there's fireplace. There's no fireplace.
And what, do you know why there would be a discrepancy? Was there formerly a bathroom that's been removed?
No.
That was a mistake that was revised. I believe the town field card for the property, I mean,
There's portions of the
the
field
town,
card.
yeah, the town just has it as 2 bedrooms, so and it has it with also, it has 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, so the appraisal I revised, it appears that the revision didn't pass along to your appraisal, but the proper room count is 5 rooms, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths.
Okay.
And I don't believe that I've sent this yet to the Board of Assessment Appeals electronically, but I'll make sure that the one that I do send is correct.
Okay.
All right.
I'll put a note that you're going to update that.
Yeah, but everything else is correct, the square footage, the site size, and again, the one next door is very similar to the subject. It's in better shape. It's a little bit bigger, square footage wise, but and it has the extra half bath, and it was in better shape too. But we're just trying to make it so it's fair.
All right, if these are your, I've noted that, you've done that
Okay.
positive adjustment,
Okay.
and that these are this one in particular is your best comp.
Relying upon that, yes.
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
So any other questions for me?
Not really. So we just want to make sure that we, using the positive time adjustments, that we expanded the search parameter for the beach properties, and that the proper room count is the 5 rooms, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths.
Okay. Okay, so let me just, somewhere here it said I'm supposed to be having you sign something that you were sworn in, but.
Yeah, they usually do have me sign something. I don't know. Let's see, Board of Assessors here. There's some paperwork here. Okay. Let's see. So I sign and then you sign. There's actually a pen here. So appeal number, what would we say, 514?
Let me just double check that.
Yeah. 514.
514, yes.
Owner, agent. That's me. And then you have to swear below and put the date. So that's case number. That's my signature. I think the rest is there for you. Okay.
Okay. All right, so you're going to send an additional or an updated copy. I just want to
Yes.
clarify that. Okay.
Yes, I am going to send electronically. Actually, Kathleen Griffin gave me the email. It's the Board of Assessment Appeals at Fairfield.org, and I think she even checked with Ross to make sure that was the right address.
Okay.
So I'm going to send a revised report, which I don't think I've even sent one yet, so the one that you're going to get will be the proper one.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Just make sure you write the appeal number.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, all right. So thank you. I'll be presenting your petition to a majority of the board at a deliberation session for consideration and vote. You will be notified by mail of the board's decision within 7 days of that decision. All decisions will be made in March Tell me how that's gonna happen. Don't know. If your appeal was denied, you can come back next year. If you were granted a reduction, you cannot appeal again until the next reevaluation in 5 years. And of course, if you don't agree with the board's decision, you can take the next step and appeal your decision in court.
Right.
Instructions on how to appeal in court will be in your decision letter.
Okay.
Okay? Any other questions, Mark?
You good?
No? All right, again, I apologize for being late.
It's okay. I think.
Thank you very much, and if you have any questions for me, this concludes your hearing, and you can leave. Thank you for your time.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Rick, we have somebody else downstairs.
Okay, Teresa?
I believe?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I think.
Thank you.
Vice Roy. Cinderella, Vice Part. Okay, nice seeing you.
Thank you very
Nice
much.
meeting you.
Okay. So I think our next one is here, that's 701.
You okay over there?
Actually, will you just
No.
show me here I'm ending,
Yep.
so what I need to do
Hold on.
to, end here.
No, I don't think 701.
Okay. So. Yeah, you've got new note sheets. Did you get the new note sheets? I mean, those are fine, I don't know that. Okay.
I didn't.
Yeah, it's okay. So are the appraisals already in the folder? Yes.
Hi, how are you, Ellie? Come on in.
We'll get there. Why don't we take, so I'm going to put these over here for you. So for each one of your appeals, these are the notes, and these are the, yeah, you took the meeting now. So if we set you up over
So,
here. So each time you
Teresa,
have
come
one,
on
just
in.
stand up and grab a lift and twist straight your leg. And then at the end of the night, we'll worry about the notes. So I think we're good. As long as you took notes and you filled out a
Right,
hearing
so
log.
I just need to like clarify how to, do this whole, to end the meeting, because I haven't ended actually the last meeting by.
You don't do anything. The conference call stays on for the full
Oh,
time
it
you're
does,
here.
okay.
You don't have to touch this at all. That's why you think you want to call up a web browser and, use something else, you're totally fine. Yep. Just recording it over there, and, you're all set. This is a computer, just if you
Yeah.
stop it here, right, then you know that
Doesn't
you
matter.
shut off your record.
And I got 7
Yeah.
more.
All right, thank
I
you.
know,
They all
it's a
have each in a
radio,
row, or
it's
do you have one?
I know, and
Is
anything,
that just luck, or does
so
that
that's
gives
your
you
next
this
person,
enough to
if
get
you
to the
want to
next
grab
one?
the
I have
log.
friends that actually do.
Yeah, it's yourself, don't worry, it's okay.
A lot of them retired though. It's like, I used to know, everybody's gone.
Huh?
That was
Scared everybody away.
Trying to find new friends.
So is this your,
So this is, for, 1563 Beach Road, is that correct?
Yes, yes. 63, 64,
Oh, that's it. Not the other.
right.
I have appeal 450, which is appeal?
So there's actually 2, there's 450 and 457. Those would be held,
Okay, sure, I have.
one's at 615, one's at 630, and they're both owned by the same person that's,
Oh, you're doing that first. Okay.
I have to do this.
no, we're doing
Yeah, that's-
both here at the same time.
Okay, that's good.
Good.
Aren't I in one? I'm 701.
Oh, right, I'm getting you mixed up.
That's okay.
This should
I'm
help
getting
you
you
read
mixed up with
the
somebody else.
log sheet. Has
Right,
all the
we're
information. So
doing,
basically, if you.
yeah, you're
if you have, like,
701.
circular-
Yes, yeah.
So you may not want me yet.
You read the
no,
script, you
you're
just read right from there,
early,
and then just drop the time there.
Maybe downstairs.
And then this is basically
Yeah, I know.
done.
but I don't know, this
Yeah.
is, yeah, you're early.
And we met March the
We'll come
day
back down for you.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. I felt like I had to go far. I went upstairs.
No worries.
Oh, it's a little hairy here, but that's okay, we're just doing our best.
So get warmed up. By the time you get to mine, you'll be hitting your stride.
We'll talk about-
So you got somebody else
We'll
now
come find
instead?
you.
You must always
Okay.
get love and
Yeah, these are the next two scheduled, so are we?
Right, you have the
Yeah.
wrong person.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He's got the right paperwork.
We do.
Okay.
We do. Yeah, she actually, with her, she said, she's a 645, which she probably could do, because this lady's not coming, so we should,
Oh, do you want me to bring her back then?
That's fine.
You wanna do
The
that?
other person isn't gonna be here?
Right.
It'll probably be quicker when you don't have the appellant. Okay, let's
Exactly,
get it
yeah.
out.
Then we're coming back up.
So the two that we were expecting to do next were 1563 and 64, right?
Yeah, so we'll do those after. So now we're doing 701, which is that's the 645.
Yes. Number 580.
Actually, said the stairs will never kill me.
Yeah.
I hope it'll never kill me, Jesus, if it does, then I really got problems.
No. We got started late, So, you know, if you're.
Whatever works, I can wait, so don't worry, don't
Well,
tip
we
things
don't,
upside down for me.
no need to do things unnecessarily.
I'm happy to patiently wait.
Okay.
I can be quiet and patient. Not always, that's not what my husband would say.
Okay. So this is Peter Rupert. Today is March 2nd, 2021. It is 6:45. And we're hearing appeal number 582.
That's correct.
582.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have a agent certification I'd like to give you.
Thank you.
All right. This happens to be Eileen's husband, George. So, sure, he's home holding down the fort.
Still working. Work never stops for me. I can get you on the phone now, right?
So I have already been sworn in.
Okay. So let me. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go through.
Yeah.
So
Do your
get this.
housekeeping.
Right. So this is for appeal number 582, which is the property address is 701 Fairfield Beach Road. And so we're going to go through. So welcome. I'm Peter Rupert. I'm one of the 9 members on the Board of Assessment Appeals, and I'm going to hear your appeal today. And your hearing is also being recorded. Okay. So I'm just going to go through, Greg, and just want to point out that Mr. Lane has already been sworn in to his previous appeal. Okay. So I'm going to say a few things for the record. Just correct me if anything is inaccurate. All right. This is appeal number 582.
Correct.
Okay. And the property we're appealing is located at 701 Fairfield Beach Road.
That's correct.
The owner of this property stated here is 701 Fairfield Beach Road, LLC.
That's correct.
Okay. The town has appraised the property at $1,937,000. Okay, is that correct?
Let me just double check. Yes.
Okay, and you're requesting that the town reduce this to $1,350,000.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
And I have 2 original appraisals for the town, and I can give you my folder too if you want. You can just put those right in there. That'd be great. Thanks, Peter.
Well, definitely was taken this year. This
Yes.
picture.
Yes. It was fun.
Was not in the summer.
Walking in the snow. That's on purpose, so we make it look so nicer in the winter,
Yeah.
if that's possible.
Okay. All right, so now your opportunity to provide testimony as to why you believe the market value of your home. Oh, actually, you know what, Greg, we're just going to do that sign.
Okay, I can do that.
Again, yeah.
Yep. So.
I'm just assuming I have to do it for every.
Yes.
Third one.
582. 582. So I've been signed in. Thanks. For you. Okay.
Perfect. So this is the opportunity now to provide testimony as to why you believe the market value of your home on October 1st, 2020 was the value of $1,350,000 and not the value assigned by the town.
Okay. For the record, my name is Gregory Lane, L-A-N-A. My business address is P.O. Box 578, Southport, Connecticut. I'm here this evening for the owners of record 701 Fairfield Beach Road, LLC. The property owner is here, Eileen. I don't know, do you have anything that you'd just like to say initially on the record, or do you want me just to go ahead and I'll do my thing?
I think you could do your thing.
Okay.
That's okay?
So, first of all, I'd like to say what I've already said, just thanking the board for their time, because you're not getting paid for this, and it's somewhat thankless. So, again, I do thank you for that. And as we discussed earlier, there are a few factors that come into play here. The marketplace is increasing, so values are going up. So I did use positive market time adjustments, the same adjustments that I used for the previous report of 12% per year for the sales. And I also, as in the previous testimony, we did expand the parameters as the revaluation company did also to the January 1st, 2019 date to have the ability to gather more similar comparables to the beach property. This property is a little different than most of the other ones that I have appraised over the years. If you look at the field card provided by the town for 701 Fairfield Beach Road, and if you get to the second page, and on the top left-hand side, it has this property categorized as a family duplex. So it has it as a two-family occupancy. So what we have here is a two-family duplex that's located on Fairfield Beach.
Is the field card in here?
The field card we gave to the assessor's office when we filed the appeal. So
I think I have it on here.
I might have an extra one.
I have. Let me just look in the file.
Yeah, double check. When I filed the appeal, that was part of their process of making sure you have a copy of that. So I probably have a vision, an older card. I don't know if I have one of the newer ones. But
I have one that I'll see if it has a date. It's print date 2/8/21.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Well, that's the same date I have for mine. All right, good. That's probably the one I gave you. All right, that makes sense. Imagine that. So if you look on the second page, up on the top left, typically houses at the beach, they say single-family residential occupancy is 1 because it's a single-family home. This is basically a two-family on the beach. There are not very many two-family properties on the beach. And what there are even fewer of on the beach are two-family sales that have occurred, even in the past 5 years. I did a two-family sale there probably about 5 years ago, and I had a really hard time trying to do the appraisal for the bank. So it comes to my next premise, and this is hugely important. My job as a real estate appraiser is to determine the highest and the best use of the property. All right? So, and if you would like, I believe if we go on to page 22, probably very close to the end, I have a definition. It may not be that far back, to tell you the truth. It may be more in the body. I can tell you just what page it is. But that's important. There we go. So it's right after use map supplemental. I believe it's page 12. And what that says there, and It is a statement of
Now, I don't
the,
have that same,
it's in the supplemental addendum. It's actually it says page 12. Just look on page 12, it says supplemental addendum, and it says highest and best use. Look on the top right-hand corner, it'll have the pages. And if you go to page 12,
I've got pictures in,
pictures are probably before it. Pictures are after it. So it's on page 11, a little mixed up here. Go back before that. But the highest and best use.
Okay, I got it. So I'm just going to mark that in my notes here.
That's important because this will make it easier for everyone to determine what the property is worth because we can find similar sales. Basically, what I'm saying, if you look at the bottom of this page, it says there on the bottom, and I'll send you a copy of this, it's the opinion of the appraiser that the highest and best use is as a single-family dwelling, and then with a legal ADU unit. ADU is an acronym, and you'll be hearing that tonight more because I have other properties besides this one. ADU is an acronym for accessory dwelling unit. It's a Fannie Mae wording. And it's basically, like in this property, you have the beach house, you have 701 Fairfield Beach Road, that's the main house, and then there's another property on this, there's another structure on this property that's more of a cottage and more of a accessory dwelling unit, and that's why it's my opinion to have that highest and best use changed to a single family, which is like the house in the back, with a cottage basically is what it is, with an accessory. A lot of them have, many others on Fairfield Beach have a garage with the accessory unit above it, next to it. This one here, yours, 703, doesn't have a garage in it, but it's basically the cottage in the front. And then if you keep on going down, it says, this is very common in the beach area, and the current use as a multifamily duplex is not the highest and best use at this time. And also, if you read the next paragraph, the subject property is in a floodplain. And what we're coming down to is pretty much what the land value is. And if you look, the subject property is a very thin, narrow piece of property. And I have a map of it. I believe it's on page 14. And it gives a floodplain map. It gives the property dimensions. There's a floodplain map, property dimensions, and then this is just another interactive map. But my point is this. There's 31 feet of frontage for this property. And that's on the beach. And I believe there's 34 feet on the street. It's long and it's narrow. And for the land value that the town has of the $1.673 million for the 0.294 acreage, that is very well what the acreage could be. My point is that anyone...
Sorry, can you just repeat what you just said for my notes here?
The property is very long and very narrow. All right, the frontage being 31 feet of the water, 34 on the street. The town has the land value at $1,673,000, with the site size being approximately 12,800 square feet. That could very well be what the square footage is of the site size, but due to the configuration of that site, any structure that would conform to zoning that could be built there would have such a small footprint that it makes this property hugely less sought after. And to have that kind of a value, anybody who was going to purchase that house, my analogy is pretty simple. It's almost like having a train car, having a sleeper car, and if you want to put a house there, you can't put a hallway down the middle unless you want to have dorm rooms that are there now. If you want to build a house, you've got to put the hallway on the left or the right and have the bedrooms to one side or the other. People, they aren't going to pay $1,678,000 for a lot where they're going to be so limited to the kind of structure which can be built there. So and that again is also explained further on the same page as the highest and best use. I did write, it's on the front page of the appraisal report, and it's also here in the addendum. It says, utility of the site is extremely limited as property frontage severely restricts the ability to construct and any structure would be severely compromised. And I did say the new structure would be similar to a railroad car, as the hallway would be on the side with all the rooms on the other side. So it's not a very sought-after site or a very sought-after plat based upon the configuration of the property line. So that's how I arrived at my value. I found other single-family sales that some had similar properties like the one here. I tried to find properties that had not so much frontage, such as my subject. Mm-hmm. So the market time adjustments were made, like in the past appraisals. You can see the first appraisal. The market time appreciation was $31,205, and the next one was $68,750. So I didn't try and shy away from trying to be accurate with the value of the property. But I guess basically what I'm trying to convey, the structures themselves have minimal value, or they're built back in 1930, 40. They're old. They're like 80 years old. And they are currently being rented to college students. There are photographs in here. And the rooms on any kind of a new structure, if you're going to put the hallway down the middle, aren't going to be that much bigger than the ones that are there now. So any buyer who was going to build a structure there isn't going to purchase it for that amount of money, in my opinion. And if you just look through the comps, it's pretty straightforward. All the other properties, they do have, first comp is 0.34 acres, so it's actually bigger than my subject. It does have more frontage, probably makes it more sought after. So, there are different factors involved, but the most important thing is the highest and best use being changed from a multifamily to a single family with an ADU. For it to be a multifamily duplex at this stage of its life and the beach area, in my opinion, that's not the highest and best use. And that's how everything just kind of rolls after that. Does that make
Yes.
sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
How do you feel? What do you think?
Yep, I agree with the
Makes
money
sense?
lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Lot size to amount of money isn't comparable to others, which is kind of the point you made.
That's what we're trying to just make it fair. That's all. I don't think I sent you this. I'm going to send this to you.
Okay.
Which I should anyway. It's yours.
Right.
All right, anything else?
Not right now, really. I mean, even if you were gonna keep it as a duplex, that's okay. But my point is that the land value should be lowered significantly based upon the plot plan. So I guess we're not pressing so much the change of the highest and best use. It's more so the value of the land based upon the configuration of this piece of property. And I think that that map that I gave you is pretty straightforward. And there's also another Google map after that. And then after the location map, there is another subject map showing the property. And you can see it's not real wide. So that's my point, pretty much. It's up to you if you want to take it or not take it. You know, often you don't have to take it. That's up to you.
So here's thank you for presenting your case here. I will be presenting your petition to the majority of the board at a deliberation session for consideration and vote. You'll be notified by mail of the board's decision within 7 days of our board's decision. Right? All decisions will be made in March. If your appeal is denied, you can come back next year. If you were granted a reduction, you cannot appeal again until the next reevaluation in 5 years. If you don't agree with the board's decision, you can take the next step and appeal your decision in court. And instructions on how to appeal in court will be in your decision letter.
Okay. Good.
All right. So if you don't have any other questions for me, then this concludes your hearing, and you can leave. And thank you for your time.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
That's good.
More important. I should have said that in the beginning, but you covered it. I'll reiterate it. I'll wrap with that.
Beat you to it. Let me just
Thanks again.
quick with the holiday.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yes, you too. Good luck with it all.
I'm not going anywhere, Peter.
Okay, yep.
I was not
Good luck with your other ones, right?
Thank you.
Appreciate
All
that.
right, nice to see you. Okay. All right. So why don't we go back to our 6:15,
Okay.
6:30, which actually, those are going to be combined, 1563 and 1564 Fairfield Beach. So I'm going to have a drink of tea.
Sure.
I'll fill out. So this one here is actually a little bit like the other one with the highest and best use.
Mm-hmm.
They have it as two different properties, but they can only be sold with each other. So the property on the creek side, if it can only be sold with the property on the beach side, there's no comps for any properties that just have a garage and they have, again, one of those accessory dwelling units, the ADU, but we'll get that when we get there. I'm going to fill out this form for you. I should do one for each property, right? I got two of them, because they have two numbers.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Yeah, even though I'm going to say the highest and best use is to just have one, we'll still do two. There we go. So I have appeal numbers 450 and 457.
That's correct, yeah.
All right. 450. 457. So here's one for 63 and 64.
Actually, let me just, I read it for the record. So, do that. This is Peter Rupert. Today is March 2nd, 2021, and it is, this hearing started at actually 7:11. This is a hearing session of the Board of Assessment Appeal. And Mr. Gregory Lane is acting as the agent for the owners, and he has presented two sworn affidavits to that. And this, we're actually hearing appeals 450 and 457. So I'm just going to ask Mr. Lane to confirm the appeal numbers and the property details. So let's start with appeal number 450. Greg?
Yes.
All right, so this is for property address 1563 Fairfield Beach Road.
Yes.
All right, the owner is Casola Teresa Casola, is that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm seeing the ask amount as, the property, so the owner of the property is, okay, so the property, the town has appraised the property at $2,224,500, and the ask amount is $2 million, I'm sorry, did I say $2,224,500, and the ask amount is $2,150,000? Is that correct?
This property is a little bit different. And yes, you are correct with the file number 450 for the 1563 Fairfield Beach. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to hear the 457 also? Do you want to go?
Yeah, well, I'll do the
that?
457
Okay.
as well. So,
Okay.
I mean, do you want me to go back and
Well,
just read
why
that
don't we
into the
just
record?
combine and say this hearing is being held in conjunction with 1564 Fairfield Beach Road, file number 457, which is across the street from file number 450, which is 1563 Fairfield Beach Road. The premise upon which we're hearing these both together is that it is the feeling of the appraiser that the highest and best use is to have these properties combined, to have a single-family home with a ADU unit, which is a accessory dwelling unit. As of now, the town has these properties assessed separately, though they can only be sold together. So as far as simplicity, it is the feeling of the appraiser that the highest and best use would be to combine the properties and just have one property with both parcels together. And that's how I have arrived at my valuation. To attempt to determine the value of the property at 1564 Fairfield Beach Road, which is a detached garage and a accessory dwelling unit, there are no sales like that kind of a property because they can't be sold by themselves. Hence, that's why I changed the highest and best use would be to combine these properties. And I'm sorry if I didn't have a chance when we first started to thank Peter for his time and the other members of the board. I did go back in time also, as was suggested by Mr. Fazio of the Revaluation Company, to January 1st, 2019 for my search parameters. And again, I'm sorry for being redundant, we did use positive time adjustments based upon the increasing marketplace.
Peter, Alexis is going to take your 7:30 left here.
Okay.
So if you want to just give me the folder, do you know what you are at 7:30? But hold on, that sheet up there. It's going to be a bigger sheet tomorrow night, easier to find.
All right, so
Give you a little time to catch up.
7:30.
1781 Fairfield Beach Road or something.
509.
Just need a purple folder. I know.
Right.
I had them gray it for tomorrow night, so this is impossible.
So it says 2059.
2059 Fairfield Beach
Yeah.
Road. Okay. Like that. Perfect. Here, Alexis will take them.
All right, so I'm sorry, you were saying that, again, about the positive time adjustment.
Correct, yeah, which I did utilize on the sales for this property. I did also go farther back in time. That this is a single-family structure. It was built around the year 2000, 8 rooms, 4 bedrooms, 4 baths. The site size is approximately 0.22 acres, and that includes both parcels, the Long Island Sound parcel and the Creekfront parcel. The square footage is 4,032 square feet for the main structure, and I have the cottage below. It's approximately 894 square feet with 3 rooms, a bedroom, and a bath. The comparables, again, I tried to find similar comparables based on age, square footage. The best comparable is probably the 4th comparable, which I believe is on page 7 of the appraisal. And it has a accessory dwelling unit like the subject property.
Let me just, do I have that?
Yeah, look on page 7. It should be there. 7 of the appraisal, so it would be...
Do you have appraisals?
I apologize. I didn't give appraisals to you. I got my 2 here. Yeah. I'm talking about... Here's the original, and then the one that I'm pointing out. You can't lick your fingers anymore. That's the best.
Okay.
That's the best sale.
This is number 4.
Because it has the accessory dwelling unit, like the subject property, and this property we did have to go back in time to March of 2019. I did use a significant time adjustment of almost $120,000, and in the end, it's the opinion of the appraiser that both properties together, the main structure, which is the 1563, and combined with the accessory dwelling unit at 1564, that the value is $202 million. I'm sorry, I did change this value, Peter, because I found that 4th count. So the figure that I have in my new appraisal for both properties is $2,250,000. So my value actually went up $100,000 because I found this 4th comparable back in 2019. So the paperwork that was given to you that says the 2150 should say 2250, and I can circle it, initial it, whatever you'd like me to do. But the appraisal is correct, 2250. And I can, if you want me to circle it and initial it or whatever, but based upon that new 4th sale with the expanded search parameters, I was able to bracket the sales for the property, and I do feel comfortable with the value of the 2250 for both properties.
So that has to be adjusted. So formerly the ask was the 215, and this needs to be adjusted to the 2250. You're saying, right?
Correct. Yes. And again, it's based upon the parameters being expanded based upon the audio pod that I heard from the revaluation company. You can put those in here if you want, just keep yourself organized. Stuff it out, so there's way too much paper.
right, so, just wanna be clear here, right?
Yes.
So, you're saying that the value, you're basing this on that you've extended the parameters of your search, you've done these positive time adjustments, but then this particular, these two particular structures are limited because they need to be
Sold together. Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And so are you saying that if it was
I can't, with them being separate currently, for me to attempt to find a value for the Creekside property with a garage, with a 3-room and a bath, and to try and break down the land with the improvement value, there are no other sales that I could use to try and determine what that value is. It's much easier to use other properties that have a property on the beach side and one on the creek side already, and they're already just one parcel, so I'm just recommending that they just be like many of the other beach properties where you have 2 addresses, the creek side, beachfront side, but it's really one property that's sold as is with the 2 properties. It may sound like it's more confusing, but in the end, it is really simpler.
okay. All right. Anything else that you,
No.
and again, you said you want to, stress that number 4 comp is the one that you're
Relied upon more so.
all right. So any other,
Not for this property.
and that's 4. This is we've now covered 450 and the
457, yeah.
457.
Yep.
I just want to let you know your 715 is downstairs.
Okay.
So,
All right. Thanks.
Last one is just one. I'm not changing the highest and best use. I'm not going to do anything sneaky to you here, so it'll be simpler than the other one.
Let me just. This is number
51.
450. $839 Fairfield Beach Road.
Yes. So here is a sworn statement of my signature. Here is an agent certification. And here's 2 original appraisals. Okay.
Okay, this is Peter Rupert. Today is March 2nd, 2021. It's 7:30 p.m. This is a hearing session of the Board of Assessment Appeals. Okay. Mr. Gregory Lane is the agent. He's presented an affidavit attesting to that, and what I'm going to do right now, and has been sworn in previously, what I'm going to do is just review the details that we have on the record and get those confirmed. Okay, so this is appeal number 451.
Yes.
Okay, 839 Fairfield Beach Road.
Yes.
Property address.
Yes.
Owner is Sarah McCullough Fricker.
Ricky, yes.
Right. Okay. And the town has appraised this property at $2,000,000 $353,200, and you're asking for it to be reduced to $2,250,000.
That has actually changed, and it's the same reasoning as in the past appraisal where we expanded the search parameters.
Okay.
And my new estimate of the value is $2 million. So it dropped by $250 based upon finding other sales. And again, I don't mean to sound redundant or make it seem unimportant, but again, Peter, thank you for your time. I'm thanking the board for their time. And
You said drop to $2 million, correct?
$2 million even, yes. And as in the other beach properties, as I just said, we did expand the search parameters. That was also done by the revaluation company to January 1st, 2019. We did use positive time adjustments based upon an increasing marketplace. And then I think you're going to find that not a whole lot of people are going to be doing that unless they do this full time, like myself, and they do the work for the banks.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't amount to, it's a fair amount when you get into seven figures. So, Kathleen.
Great. I'm just checking on poor Peter here, make sure he's not passing out if it's too hot and open the window for him or anything.
He's fine.
You're not abusing him or anything?
No.
Treating him nicely?
Full of hot air, but we're trying to blow it out the window. We're okay. He's doing fine. He's fine.
Yeah, Peter, you need anything?
I'm all set.
You're sure?
Yeah, we're good. Thanks, Kathleen. So, right, positive time adjustments and expanded the search parameters. So, again, I think I used the same. Why don't we back up a little bit? So, this property, 839 Fairfield Beach Road, is a single-family dwelling, and it also has a accessory dwelling unit, or an ADU, as known by Fannie Mae. The subject property, the main single-family structure, was built in 2015. Square footage is about 3,100 square feet, 8 rooms, 3 bedrooms, 4.5 baths. Now there is a older, like I said, accessory dwelling unit. It's on the same side as the Long Island Sound side. There's nothing on the creek. So it's a 2-car detached garage with an accessory dwelling unit above it and also part of it. So the square footage of that accessory unit is about 1,100 square feet. There's 5 rooms, 3 bedrooms, and a bath. And what stands out about this property, and it's similar to 701 Fairfield Beach, and I believe I have one of those maps again, like I had, and it's on it says page 19. You're probably going to have to, I think the subject is before that, to tell you the truth. I think the subject is on 18. So that shows 839 Fairfield Beach Road. And it has a floodplain map and a property dimension. It's after the picture that says cottage, 2060 Fairfield Beach.
Yep.
So it's after that. So the subject property, if you look at the property dimensions, you can see on the street, looks like 67 feet of frontage, and then it gets slimmer, slimmer, slimmer. Down by the water, 14 feet of frontage. So it's similar to the property at 701, where you could possibly, the available land where you could actually build a structure is extremely limited. And I have the frontages of the comparables are all attached to this also, and they're all superior. They all have more frontage. But I just, for them to have the site value of $1,261,000 when you have to build the house way back from the water, just makes it for not as a sought-after property. To have it worth $1.25 million plus for the land based upon the site dimensions, the site size might seem significant based upon the 3.24 acres, but the actual utility of the property is severely limited. And that's stated in a couple spots in the appraisal. The first page has the same verbiage as the previous property we did, saying utility of the site extremely limited as the property frontage decreases significantly towards water frontage. The ability to construct adequately is severely compromised.
All right, so is this on the,
It's on the first page of the appraisal, so I think it would be like it would be page 5. It's like the first page where there's actually printing going on, and that's about halfway down. On the left it says site description.
okay, yeah.
And then at the bottom, there's a line there, and it says Cite Comments. And you'll see there, well, I have that written, and I think I have the same thing written. I should have the same verbiage that I had on 701 as far as this highest and best use didn't change. Nope, I didn't put that in here. So it's just basically utilizing that map that I supplied. You can see that where you would actually put any kind of a structure is a much smaller portion of that plot. It's not a rectangle, and the site plan is severely limited as to what you can build there. And it's not too hard to really see.
And it says here, reliance is placed on the close comparable number 1. Is that the one?
Well, and then if you read the next line, it says sale number 4 was added after the BAA hearing from a revaluation company to expand the search. So sale number 4 further justifies that value. So between the 1.8 and the 2 million, I probably came in too high. But I was already at that 2.250. I didn't want to. I think 2 million is probably fair. But the land certainly for $1.25 million with that kind of with those dimensions, that site should be discounted pretty heavily based upon the dimensions. It's going to be difficult to get a buyer in there for that kind of money where they're going to be restricted as to what they can build.
All right. So let me just just want to thank you. All right, I'll be presenting your petition to a majority of the board at the deliberation session for consideration and vote. You'll be notified by mail of the board's decision within 7 days of the decision. All decisions will be made in March. If your appeal is denied, you can come back next year. If you were granted a reduction, you cannot appeal again until the next reevaluation in 5 years. If you don't agree with the board's decision, you can take the next steps and appeal your decision in court. Instructions on how to appeal in court will be in your decision letter. All right, if you don't have any questions for me at this time,
I don't.
conclude your hearing.
Again, thank you. All right. It's been a learning experience for you. Is this your first go around?
This is second.
Second? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my goal was to make your job as easy as I could.
Okay.
I tried,
That's all. Yeah.
without getting too wordy, and I try and tell my clients not to come, but some of them just can't help it. But in general, they behaved. Sometimes they just can't stop talking, and they get themselves in trouble. They don't know when to stop talking. Just nervous thing, I guess. So again, I hope I was clear and concise. I didn't confuse you. There were a couple zingers in there, kind of, with the highest and best juice, and but
Yeah, no, you explain those clearly.
I tried to. So I know you have your hands full. So trying to make your job easier if that's possible.
Yes. All right, great. Thanks so much.
I thank you.
Appreciate it.
I might see you tomorrow. I might see you next week. I got like 15 more of these in Fairfield. Yeah. I got Weston. I go. It's okay. Well, I mean, it's kind of nice doing this work without doing bank work all the time. You don't have to be with the underwriters, and it's nice to talk to people and go to different properties. And it's nice to see. So I thank you, Peter.
Okay.
Okay. Be careful going home. It's dark.
All right.
And
Have a good evening.
maybe I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Who knows? Thank you. See you.
Take care now.
How are you doing? Are you ready for a 7:15?
7:15, yep.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, bring it on.
I'm worried about you. He should, yours all set. Hopefully, sorry, that was death by fire to give you him. I didn't mean to do, I usually get him every year.
That's okay.
At some point, I say to people, or I started to say, if I thought people were waiting, if you really need to talk to me again, I'm happy to.
Right.
If we did another time, I'll leave, a phone call at some point and follow up, or whatever. It has to be on the record, but it has to be at a time that you're here, but that helps. Come on in.
Hi.
It's the right place.
You have Peter, yes.
One of the rooms is serving champagne. Is this the right one?
Not
And I'm in the wrong one.
Tell me which one it is, because I don't know either.
Shall I sit here?
Yes, please.
Get our six feet distance? Hiya, Peter. How are you?
Hi. Are you Paul?
I'm Paul Barnes.
Paul, nice to meet you.
Nice to know you.
Okay. So I just want to, because we're being recorded here, so I'm just need to state some things for the record, okay?
Whatever you got.
All right. This is Peter Rupert. Today is March 2nd, 2021, and it is currently 7:45. Okay. All right. Paul, I am Peter Rupert, and I'm one of the 9 members on the Board of Assessment Appeals. I'm going to hear your appeal today. Your hearing is also being recorded. I'm just going to ask you to state a few things here just to confirm for me. This is appeal number 644.
Correct. That's what I got here.
All right, and the property you're appealing is located at 1681 Fairfield Beach Road.
That's correct.
Okay, and you're the owner, Paul Barnes, along with Melissa R. Lou.
Melissa R. Barnes. That's my wife.
Okay, all right, and the town value was $1,747,800, and you're asking for a reduction to $1,696,000.
Yeah, I'm actually working with assessed numbers, so it's I guess, hard to keep track, but.
Okay. All right, well, if you need that, if you need me to change that, you'll just have to let me know, right? I mean, I have you, that you're asking for, you know, what the town value was, again, was $1,747,800. And then, you're asking for a reduction to $1,696,000.
Sounds right.
Okay, all right. All right, so this hearing, unfortunately, starts at 10:45. So I'm just going to confirm that you're the owner of the property, all right?
Right, I am, with my wife.
Okay, so I'm going to, sorry, let me, Paul, do you mind if I just step around here for 1 second? I know I'm- All right, so you're going to just sign this, I'm going to swear you in, and then, as you sign that.
I write the appeal number.
Yes, please. So just state your name for the record and whether you're the owner or an agent.
I'm Paul Barnes, and I am the owner.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'm going to now swear you in. If you would raise your right hand. Okay, do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And Mr. Barnes is just completing the confirmation or this one.
There we go.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so this is going to be your opportunity, Mr. Barnes, to provide testimony as to why you believe the market value of your home on October 1st, 2020 was, in this, what you're saying is $1,696,000 and not the value assigned by the town. Market value is what your home most likely would have sold for on that date. Please try to be as succinct as possible. All right, so
My turn, all right. Well, even though I am a realtor, I'm, to be honest, not an appraiser that can pinpoint value as close as we're talking. I am coming at this from another angle. So I'm coming at this from is that on December 7th of 2020, I received from the assessor a final assessment of $1,187,000
$1,187,000.
and 200. Yeah, 187,200. And I have the breakdown between land and building, what that's worth. But anyway.
Hi, Mr. Israel? Yep. All right, follow me.
Then on the 29th of January, I guess a good 6 weeks later, I got a second notice. And on the second notice, it told me that my final assessment was $1,223,460. And my question was just the basic question of what happened. And I did call, and a very nice gal in the assessor's office, her name was Paula. She helped me the best she could. And I got my paperwork together and I sent it into her. And when I finally got back with the thought that she was going to try to put that before Ross, the assessor. But then when I called her to check on it, she just said, Paula, you better just go in and appeal it. And I said, I understood. She just didn't make any headway, because I later learned that Ross is inundated with stuff. So anyway, my only question is, what happened between the 7th of December and the 29th of January that caused my assessment to change? I was not able to get an answer. Now, in reading some of the things that have been going around, I understand there is a new variable that has come in for the valuation of the land, and it's a simple number of, it's either a 1 or a 2 or a 3. I never understood what that was about. I don't know if I'm a 1 or a 2 or a 3. I don't know if on December 7th I was one number and later I became a different number. I don't know what caused, or if that has anything to do with it. So I'm just here to say that, when you're thrown with a number and then 6 weeks later you got a different number, you got questions, that's all. I love the town, I'm happy to pay my taxes, but, I just want to be treated fairly.
Sure. All right. So do you have any, so let me just ask, do you have the 2 documents that you said, okay? And do you have any sales comparisons that you would use to
No. No. I'm actually, just to be honest, for what it's worth, I'm just simply comparing one number I was given and then 6 weeks, as a final number. I should stress that. I was given a final number of $1,187,000, and then on the 29th of January, I was given a new final number. And I didn't read anything in the town documents that talked about there might be a change. So I'm just kind of here to state that and sort of try to understand, why did it change?
Okay. All right. So, I would just make a suggestion to you if you feel like that value that was stated, that you would like to see it reduced to. If you have any comparables that would be of help in determining that value.
No, I'd like to tell you a whole story.
Yeah.
But no, I don't have anything. I'm just approaching it to say, why do you send out a final evaluation and then 6-7 weeks later send out a new? I don't know if other people are in with the same question, but it's probably not relevant.
Right. Well, like I'm only 5 appeals in, so
Yeah.
out of hundreds. So maybe it is something that other people have a question on. But so far I haven't heard anyone with that. But again, just 5 appeals in. All right. And I guess would you say were there any improvements done in that time period between the 2? It was really only a month, or a little bit,
There's no change to the property. I did a little analysis to find that the change from the 1.1 up to the 1.2, strangely and interestingly, caused the value of the building. When the first assessment came in on December 7th, the building portion of it was $328. Later, on the 29th of January, the building portion of it, the improvement portion, went down $15,000 to $312,480. So that went down 15. However, the land changed within 6 weeks from 859 250 up to 911, 910 980. So again, I come back to this thing which was being sort of mentioned about there's a new qualification added to land. Do you have anything there about what's A, B, or C?
I don't.
Okay. I went online today to I'm a realtor, so I went on to the MLS, and on an MLS search, you can do a tax search. And I looked through my field card. I didn't see anything on there. But for what it's worth, I would say to you that on the map section of the field card in that program, it showed my land being a lot wider than it is.
So,
My land is 40 feet wide. Width is your big function down on the beach.
so I just want to go back. So the map section of the field card, you're saying that the part that's on record here, it shows
On the computer for the realtors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the MLS.
But it's a connection to what's over in the assessor's office. And from at least the mapping, I looked at it and I said, wow, my property is not that wide. My property is simply 40 feet from the front of it to the back of it. It's a perfect rectangle. So I didn't know if there was something that happened there.
Okay. All right. So some discrepancy.
Well, it just, on there, yeah, it just seemed. And another thing that I think has been caught up, I hope, since, I think it was 2013 or 14, is I don't know what the term is, but see down here, I have a front lot on the water side, and across the street I have a second lot, a creek lot, with a garage. And I voluntarily had those two lots condensed into one. So there's no longer two lots down there. I wish I could remember for you the name of that process, but it's in the records. So now I have just one, which caused my assessment to go down maybe 6-7 years ago. And the trade-off was that I could never try or appeal or apply, rather, to get that back lot made into a residential area. Even though I do have a garage sitting on it, but it cannot be made a second home.
Well, I don't have any other questions for you. I mean, certainly, I'll look into all these things. I mean, that's.
Well, yeah, I'm just, thank you for your time. I know what it's like to be where you are, so I think you're a great guy to do this. And I don't know which side of the aisle you're on, but I was approached by the Republican side to help you in your work. And are you Republican or Democrat?
Well, I like to think I'm just down the middle here.
But did the Republicans appoint you or the Democrats?
No, the Democrats.
Well, I'm on the other side. My son-in-law used to be the head of the Republican town committee, and he was out. Poor guy, I never thought it was the way it is, but there's a time where he's got committees he's got to fill.
Sure, yeah.
And I said, I need somebody zoning board, the appeal. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I came before this one time, not to take up your time with stories, but I had a lady and I was trying to get her listing, and she said, oh, but my tax, and I looked at her, I said, gee, I think I know a little bit about it. I could take you in and try to get the feel. So, lucky me, I brought her in and we got her taxes reduced significantly. And she said, oh, Paul, thank you. I think I'll stay in my house now. So that was that.
All right. So, Paul, let me just, I just want to thank you for presenting your petition to a majority of the, I'm sorry. Thank you. I'll be presenting your petition to a majority of the board as deliberation session for consideration and vote. You're going to be notified by mail of the board's decision within 7 days of that decision, okay? All decisions will be made in March. If your appeal was denied, you can come back next year. If you were granted a reduction, you cannot appeal again until the next reevaluation in 5 years. If you don't agree with the board's decision, you can take the next step and appeal your decision in the court. Instructions on how to appeal in court will be in your decision letter. All right. If you don't have any questions for me, this concludes your hearing.
No?
All right.
You did a great job. We're set.
Thanks, Paul. Have a good evening, and
Yeah.
warmer weather's on its way.
I hope. Actually, tomorrow they say it's going to be a big difference. I was looking at the weather, I think this morning they posted today is like 32. Tomorrow might be 50. Peter, what is your last name?
Rupert. R-U-P-P-E-R-T.
Nice to know you.
Know you, Paul.
Okay, take care.
All right. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right, Harold.
How you doing this morning?
Holding up the work here.
I know, we figured
Sorry.
you're the veteran, so I didn't give the newbies what I gave you.
Okay. So,
Do you need me to make copies of any of your, are you doing your note sheets as you're going
this is
along?
7:30. I thought we did the 7:30 one.
I think I gave 7:30 to somebody. If you tell me the name, I can tell you who was it. Alexis took your 7:15.
The 205-9 Fairfield Beach Road.
Didn't I pull that out? I think I pulled that out. And
This is the same. This is
I
that.
probably didn't give them to Alexis. Okay. Oh, didn't I?
Maybe there was double. I thought you did, actually.
Are you ready for Mr. Fay?
Yes.
Already, I will send them up. Can you, Mr. Hummerson, James, and Anna, is that who Alexis has? She has, yes, here's the notes that went with it. Okay, they probably never made it in the fold, they were.
For a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was.
I apologize because we had a.
Harold, are you guys ready? Because
So,
the appraiser, Jeff is here with us. I'll send them up.
So, please feel free to ask people to speak up if you're not getting sufficient movement of these spots.
Yeah, and your hearing is still being going because the green lights are on, so you're good over here. Please. I wasn't going to leave it on the table.
Oh, yeah, I'll take those. So, for me to, how does it work for me to be able to, like, just refine my notes to be able to hear it?
Just take them with you. I mean, what I tend to do is I tend to write them on a pad, and then I fill this out afterwards. So we can always, we can print you a whole other set of these if you want to recopy them.
Actually,
Yeah.
no, I have it in my head.
Okay,
So we don't-
that's what I tend to do, and then I summarize on there, and then that's what I make a copy for. Because if we're going to deliberate on the front, I want to have it. Yeah, I would. I find that because you never know, where it's going to go at the end, and then you need to be able to read them when you're done.
Yeah. Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. John Fay.
John, thank
I'm
you.
over here?
Peter Rupert? Yes, you are.
Okay.
Okay. So John, so I just want, this is, we are, I just want to have to be recorded, everything's going to be recorded here, okay? And so just going to kind of read through a script here, if you don't mind. So this is Peter Rupert. Today is March 2nd, 2021, and it is 8:06. And I apologize for the delay. I'm Peter Rupert. I'm one of the 9 members of the Board of Assessment Appeals. I'm going to hear your appeal today. Your hearing is also being recorded. So I'm going to state a few things for the record, and I'd like you to correct me if I have anything, if I'm stating anything inaccurately.
Okay.
So your appeal number is 630.
Okay. Just make sure I find that in the right spot. At least check it. It would have been in my email that you got to me, right? So I'll just double check that. Yes, sir.
Okay.
630. Mm-hmm.
All right, and then the property you're appealing is located at 939 Fairfield Beach Road?
Yep.
Okay. And you are the property owner?
Yes, sir.
All right. And the town has valued your property at $1,679,300,
Mm-hmm.
and you're asking for a reduction to $1,470,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And all right. So I'm going to just confirm that you're the owner of the property. What I'd like you to do is just state your name for the record and whether you're the owner or an agent.
Yes, my name is John Fay, and I am the owner of the property 939 Fairfield Beach Road.
All right. Great. Thank you. So I'm going to swear you in. If you would raise your right hand, please. All right. Do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. Thank you, John. And right there, John, there's a paper that if you would just sign that. All right. Please write your name and sign that paper on the desk confirming that you were sworn in.
Okay. You want me to put my appeal number on there again?
I can do that. I can fill that part out.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you finish them. Today's March, the second day of March.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I provided some materials. Here's the beginning, the petition, which was, I believe, copied by your colleague. It had, of course, the appraisals that were done at the time I purchased the property, as well as, I believe, this photo. I think it's a copy, which sort of gives you an idea of where our property is located.
Are you saying that's in this
It should
file?
be in there, yeah. I'm just trying to make sure that you've got, that we're in the same here.
This is the...
Good, how you doing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I have other materials that I can leave with you as well, and I've got copies of them at home.
Sure. Okay. All right, so, yeah, let me just, I just want to read the script to you, okay? So this is your opportunity to provide testimony as to why you believe the market value of your home on October 1st, 2020 was the $1,470,000, and not the value assigned by the town. Market value is what your home most likely would have sold for on that date. Please try to be as succinct as possible.
I'll try.
Sure.
Complicated, but I'll try. Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for giving me the chance to advocate for myself and my family. This is something that is really very important to me and to my family. Back in 2019, we purchased a home at 939 Fairfield Beach Road for a price of $1,300,000. At the time, the house was on the market, or had been on the market for 2 years. We went to binder in 2018, late 2018. We closed in Feb 2019. The key thing to know about that is the fact that that house had been on the market for around $1,650,000, $1,675,000 for 2 years. When we purchased the house, there was one other bidder, and who bid below what we did, obviously, and did not purchase that. That was what we were told by our realtor, and we had to bid up. We had to come up on our price initial bid. Now, one of the reasons why we chose that house or that price, or recognized that price, and why it sat for 2 years, it is right next to 2 Ganem properties. We share almost our deck with them, so they're constant college rentals, right, 6 feet away. The second thing is the house is not FEMA compliant. It is a home that is, it's certainly in a beautiful location. Some people are terrified by the water. I'm not. But we are going to have to raise that house. The third thing is it did not have a garage, which I've had garages just about every house I've owned. That's a whole new experience. So there were certain things that made that house sit for so long, and for us to finally buy it at 1.3. Fair valuation. There was no swooping in. It was not a steal. It had been there for 2 years. So, of course, we learned more about what it was like to live next door to the kids as we got there. And now we understand a little bit more about the pricing. People told us, you're going to have to put up with the kids. That's fine. I paid the price. That's what I'm in at. The house, however, so I thought, okay, well, fine. I bought the house here. I know that it's on the grand list at, I don't know, close to 1.6 or 1.55 back in 2019. I'll probably be revalued down, because they're going to pay attention to the market. I was really surprised in this valuation. Now, granted, we have the pandemic, but the valuation went up originally to over 1.7. There's a house across the street that has been sitting for 2 years, new construction, that is still on the market. I don't think they've closed yet, for 1.399. So, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but the bottom line is I thought that I was in at what was probably the right market price. The bank, because I took out a mortgage on it, they came in and they appraised it at $1,350,000. I provided some of that report to you there. They came up with that price using comps in the neighborhood. There was a sales comp. Their cost comp was 1,379. Again, this is a house that's not raised. There's no garage. To me, we were in the right ballpark in terms of price. In terms of, so again, my surprise when we were elevated up, knowing that there's, again, living here and having to deal with the police and the children and the students, that we were jacked up. I then began to look at comps. Comps in around the neighborhood, homes that were recently revalued by Mr. Fazio. And I found a great discrepancy. And these are some of these were comps that were actually used by the bank with me, and some of them are more recent ones. There were transactions around the same time my house was transacted. I can take you through some of them here. I do have a list, and then I have basically, I did a little bit in terms of how did I get to the 147, or I have here also 148. It's basically looking through some of these comps here. Property, I believe you have this here. There's 1495 Fairfield Beach Road. That property is traded or sold in May of 2019 for $1.3 million. It was actually assessed higher than that when that transaction occurred. That assessment, the appraisal, came down in this revaluation. That house now is appraised at 1,567. Same purchase price as me, 1,567. And, that house has a garage. It also has had some work done on it since the purchase price. since that 1.3. Let's see, 2123, that's a property that was used by my appraiser back when I purchased my property. That property traded it for $1,470,000 in April of 2018. That was a pretty new house. It was, I think, built in 2010. And then more work was done to it in 2015, according to the field card. That house was appraised at $1,400,000 and, sorry, without my glasses on here, I don't want to fog up. I think it's $1,467,000. Yeah. So traded at $1,470,000 in April of 18. Appraised now $1,467,000. That's a 2010 build, and it's on the beach. So there was no increase really between what I'm trying to point out here is purchase price, increase in value attached to whatever.
So they came out, but I think I know.
1157 Fairfield Beach Road. That was also one of the houses that I looked at when I was making my decision in February of 2019. 1250 was the price that was paid. It is appraised now at $1,541. They've added $100,000 worth of work, according to the field card, and if you drove by, you'd see they put in a garage and, I don't know if it's like a 2-bedroom apartment above there. But it's a considerable amount of work that's been done. It's being rented out. It's a commercial property. So there you had $100,000 worth of work done, and you had $100,000 work done, and that's a 20% increase over the purchase price. That's pretty great value. But I mean, if you took $100,000, if you said $1,250, took $1,350, then $1,541, you know, whatever that's, maybe 15%, 10-15%. Another house that was used as a comp for me was 971 Fairfield Beach Road. That house traded for $1,446,000 in.
What did you say? $1,446,000.
$446,000. Let me see if I can put my glasses on here now. Yeah, $1,446,000 in June of 2018. I can't remember if I looked at that one. It's probably out of my price range. 1,446,000. They have a good-sized lot. It's a quarter of an acre, a garage, and I think about 3,000 square feet. That house is now appraised at $1,629. But that's a higher purchase price. I'm trying to use this as, again, it's not like my house is the same. That house is on the same side of the street, a few doors further southwest, with a garage and more square footage, etc. That was about a 12% increase. And then we get to my property, which purchase price is $1.3 million in February of 2019. And my appraisal now, having gone through the informal hearing, and they moved it down a little bit, is $1,679. That's a 30% increase. There's no, my card is, that's all it is. It's just a 30% increase, which doesn't make any sense. There's nothing to validate it. There's a house across the street that they haven't been able to sell. And my house before, you know, the only real piece of market data we have is my purchase price. And there's a reason for the purchase price. And it's because, you know, we sit in this block, for better or worse. You know, I've learned to live with it. I mean, I love the water. But I don't love calling the police. I don't love having to go outside and tell the kids they got to turn the music down or cleaning the beer cans out of my driveway. I don't like, you know, that part of it is unpleasant. And it seems absurd for me to be valued unjustly, to pick a number out of the air, where I don't think the house would sell. And I shouldn't, you know, put it this way, the Giordano's who lived there before, they paid that grand list valuation for 4 years until I bought it. And it was wrong. It wasn't the fair market value. And you know, here we have COVID, where we all are, you know, have to agree this is an extraordinary time. And while I heard Fazio talking the other day, about how the market's still firm, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. So, it just, again, my methodology is to go and look at the undisturbed value of the property, of the market, which would have put me back around $1,350, and then add a premium to that. Add a premium at $1,350. That's above what I paid for it, and that would put me at a 10% premium. That puts me around $1,485, $1,470. Honestly, it's a finger in the wind when it comes to what somebody's willing to pay to live next door to the kids. And I've got, if my house were raised already and that investment had been made and had a garage, yeah, I can get up to those prices, but that hasn't been done yet. So that's kind of where I am. In terms of comps, I had this little sheet here that just kind of goes through some of those numbers, some of the names in which I'm happy to give to you.
Okay, yeah.
You have the picture here, and again, just to point out, to be a little bit closer, our house, I think you can see there, is 939.
Mm-hmm.
And right next to us there are 3 rentals, actually. The Chris Clutch's house is the one to the third one. And then the 2 Ganem properties, right there. So, and then right across the street, those are all rentals there. So, it's an area that's been mentioned as the 900 block. When I first got in, they had a police car that gets stationed right outside of my driveway on Fridays and Saturdays. It's not the same as valuing a house that's down the road. And so I don't think that, some of those other comps, I don't even know where he came up with those comps. I mean, as I said, the one house that was traded close to mine, that $1,495, that valuation went down from 2019. The 2015 appraisal went down in 2020. Mine went up. So I don't know if that makes any sense to you. As I said, we understand where we live. I'm not complaining at all. I feel grateful every day that I look out that window and see that water. I just don't want to be in a situation, this is a situation where we're trying to value a piece of property, not my happiness, but we're trying to look at the fair market value of that property. And I contend that the fair market value of the property is not what is on the grand list. It wasn't correct in 2015. I bought it where I did, and now to take it up even higher doesn't make any sense to me. So,
All right. You have paperwork for me. I'll take that from you.
Sure. Let's see. Well, you already have that appraisal part. I'll give you this. Some of this might be redundant. We already have it, but better for it to have all. But I wrote some of the numbers in here.
Okay.
And mostly, I guess, if you can explain to me, does this want me to hand it to you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Well, that's okay.
I would assume how much of my testimony is what you would be reviewing as well, or our conversation.
Right.
With other board members.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, let me just tell you that. So, I'll be presenting your petition to the majority of our board at a deliberation session for consideration and vote. You're going to be notified by mail of the board's decision within 7 days of that deliberation, and all decisions will be made in March. If your appeal was denied, you can come back next year. If you were granted a reduction, you cannot appeal again until the next reevaluation in 5 years. If you don't agree with the board's decision, you can take the next step and appeal that decision in court, and instructions on how to appeal in court will be in your decision letter. Okay?
Okay.
If you don't have any other questions, then this concludes the hearing.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, you don't have any more questions for me?
I don't. I mean, you gave me, good comps. I mean, that's, what, we want to look at comps, and so, we'll take a look at those.
Okay.
So.
All righty.
I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
All right?
Do they take into account the students in that area?
I think it's, sales are the big thing, so I guess it's student, and tax sales, then I suppose.
They should.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big difference, personally, it's unfortunate because it's a beautiful area and it's disruptive. But I mean, I guess it's, as I'm learning, it's been going on for decades. I find out, so-and-so's coming in next door and their parents went to Fairfield View and they had the rite of passage on the beach. But, it's all fine as long as everybody is on the same page about it. And for me, I just, as I said, want to be on the same page with the town in terms of my valuation, how much taxes I'm paying for it. All right, well, thank you
All right,
very
John,
much.
sure, you're welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks again.
All right, have a good night.
Are you ready for?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'll set up.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Are you, Ken?
Yes.
Hi, Ken. I'm Peter Rupert.
Peter.
So I just wanted you to know we're going to be recording this session here, okay? So my name is Peter Rupert. Today's March 2nd, 2021, and it is about 8:29 p.m. Right, this will be this is a hearing session of the Board of Assessment Appeals. Again, I'm Peter Rupert. I am one of the 9 members on the Board of Assessment Appeals. I'm going to hear your appeal today. Your hearing is also being recorded. I'd like to just go through and just confirm some of the data that we have here. All right, so this is appeal number 227.
Yep.
Is that correct? Okay. And the property you are appealing is located at 1810 Fairfield Beach Road.
Correct.
Okay. And the owner of this property is you, Ken Davey, and your wife Elizabeth, or I'm sorry, I'm assuming.
Yep, that's correct.
Right. And the town has your property appraised at $1,538,400.
Yep.
And you're looking for a reduction of the appraised value to $1,261,197.
I have revised that, but we'll get
About it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So do you want to tell me that now?
Yeah, sure. $1,173,490. $73,490.
All right. So, all right. So I'm just going to confirm that you're the owner of the property. All right. So if you would state your name for the record and whether you're the owner, just state
My name is Kenneth Davey, and I am the owner of 1810 Fairfield Beach Road.
All right, great. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swear you in. If you would raise your right hand. Okay. Do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. So, Mr. Davey, right there on the corner of the table is a sheet that you're just going to sign to say that you have, in fact, been sworn in. Thank you. Okay, so this is your opportunity to provide testimony as to why you believe the market value of your home on October 1st, 2020 was the value of $1,173,490.
Mm-hmm.
Right, this is a modified amount, and not the value assigned by the town. Market value is what your home most likely would have sold for on that date. Please try to be as succinct as possible.
Okay. Over to me. Okay. Now, we appreciate there are many different styles, sizes, and varying quality of homes on the beach, and making comparisons between specific properties is difficult. The examples we've outlined here are ones where we have sufficient knowledge in terms of quality and size to be able to draw reasonable conclusions in respect of relative value. It is difficult to find properties to compare on a sales basis, as homes on Fairfield Beach Road vary considerably in terms of age, quality, size, and location. Beachside, creekside, where obviously the former typically are more valuable than the latter. And further, a review of sales on the peninsula within the base period, which was 1019, 1020, revealed no equivalent sales to our house on the creekside. And this process, frankly, has been made much more difficult, as information such as beach zones and land value curves have not been made available to taxpayers. Now, please note that when we bought our house, 1810, in July 2019, it was a private sale, no appraisal or broker involved, so its sale price is not necessarily representative of its current value when compared with other properties on the creekside. And that, to us, is one of the critical issues on the basis of comparisons. So to demonstrate that the appraised value of 1810 Fairfield Beach Road is considerably greater than it should be when compared to properties on similar sized plots of land on the creekside, I'm going to look at three specific areas. One of them, 1810 compared, which I really don't like doing, but I couldn't find another way to do it, to its immediate neighbor in terms of improvements. And 1810.2, 1810 compared to specific creekside plots, and 1810 compared to 11 plots in total on the creekside. So in respect of point 1, when I compare 1810 to its immediate neighbor, which is 1800, it indicates that the process, at least as applied to 1810, resulted in an appraised value that is disproportionately higher than it should be. 1810 was built in 2005. There's 2,412 square feet of living space. Is not currently deemed to be Fema compliant. And the depreciated value of the house of 1810 has been appraised at $454,100, or about $188 a square foot. Its immediate neighbor, 1800, was built in 2019, is FEMA compliant, has 3,524 square feet of living space, and that's 46% larger. The depreciated value of the house at 1800 has been appraised at $541,800, for $154 a square foot. Now we both know, we know both homes very well, and we can state that the quality of 1800 is vastly superior to 1810. and worth considerably more than the $87,700 difference in the appraisal. However, once we take into account the variance in the value of land, which I'm going to go into in more detail in my next point, the municipal valuation total appraised value of $1,800 was $1,356,700, and 1810 is $1,538,400, which basically values 1800 as being worth 181,700 less than 1810. And when you consider the difference in size, the 46% larger, and the quality, it doesn't seem logical nor consistent with this whole effort to get to a reasonable equivalence of value. So, summary of my first point, 1810 is considerably overvalued compared to its immediate neighbor, 1800. Now, point two, comparing 1810 to specific creekside plots. 1810 and 1800 are both creekside properties, which they directly abut one another. Now, my original submission is a picture which shows the land abutting. 1810's plot consists of 10,227 square feet, of which a portion is wetlands and it doesn't have a bulkhead. 1800's plot consists of 9,356 square feet, so pretty much the same. The appraised value of the land for 1810 is currently $106 a square foot, and 1800 is $87 a square foot. And since both plots are recorded as being similar size and they directly abut one another, there appears to be no rationale for this variance. Now, 1504, another example, is a new build. It was built in 2019-2020. It consists of a FEMA-compliant house of 2,708 square feet on a plot of 10,652 square feet. Its land at 1504 is valued at $70 a square foot versus $106 a square foot for 1810. So it's impossible for me to rationalize that both are creekside, virtually the same size. I don't know how that works. And then during the BAA conference call, Mr. Vazio stated that he placed a value of $700,000 on a creekside building lot. Given this, and what I just outlined, I don't understand how it's possible that our lot is appraised at well over $1 million. So the value of the land has also increased somewhat inconsistently across these three examples. 1810 is up 113%, and both 1800 and 1504 are up 47%. And given this considerable variation in the value of the land per square foot across plots of similar size, again, the logic defeats me. Now, last point 3. The Attack Spreadsheet, which was included with the original submission, contains the appraised value of 12 properties on the creekside, and the square foot value of the land varies between a low of $54.69, that's $14.76, to a high of $106.02, that's $18.10, and the mean value is $64.92 a square foot. And again, how is it possible to justify such a variation in the appraised value of similar plots of land, they are all of very similar size, on the creekside? So what's my conclusion? In analyzing the appraisal, I tried to answer two basic questions. One, how can the appraisal differ so significantly among properties on the creekside? And two, how can the vast variation in the value of land per square foot be justified? And the reality, I don't think that's possible. So I have to conclude that the 2020 appraisal of 1810 Fairfield Road is much higher than can be justified when compared to properties on similar plots of land, and fails to meet the test of equitable treatment, which is, I believe, one of the foundations of the appraisal process. So based on the assumption that the appraisal of 1504 and 1800 and the other houses listed on the spreadsheet are correct, then I believe the appropriate appraised value of 1810 should be at most $1,173,400, which is an overall increase of 13%. I suppose in the end, all my wife and I are asking is for transparency of the process, and ultimately to be treated with some sort of fairness. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Are those are things that are already here in this file?
No.
Here you go.
I have an expert copy. Great.
And all 12 properties are listed on there?
They should be in they're on the spreadsheet, the original spreadsheet.
Thank you.
Can you check and make sure you've got that
Yes,
spreadsheet?
sure.
I'm pretty sure I did attach it.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. So, let me just, so you've given me three arguments that you're making,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're comparing the 1800 home with your own home at 1810, talking about the quality of that, larger size, all right? And then you're also talking about the creekside plots, and you again brought up that these are plots that abut 1800 and your own. And then,
No, the plots that abut are 1800, 1810.
Right.
The remaining plots are obviously up and down the beach, but I believe from the recent information I got, they do fall in what you now call, I think, Zone 2.
Uh-huh.
So they're all equivalent in that sense.
Yeah. So, but it was just that was point two, right? Is that the,
Right.
And then the number 1500 as well.
Yeah.
You brought up there, and then the 12, the appraised value of the 12.
Yeah.
Discrepancy
That's it.
there. Okay. All right. So, all right. So let me just let you know. Thanks for presenting the petition to me, and I'll just tell you I'll be presenting your petition to a majority of the board at a deliberation session for consideration and vote. You'll be notified by mail of the board's decision within 7 days of that hearing or deliberation, and all decisions are going to be made in March. If your appeal was denied, you can come back next year. If you were granted a reduction, you cannot appeal again until your next evaluation in 5 years. If you don't agree with the board's decision, you can take the next step and appeal your decision in court, and instructions on how to appeal in court would be in your decision letter.
Okay.
All right? So thank you. If you don't have any questions, then our hearing here is complete.
Okay. No,
All right.
that was it.
All right.
Thank you for your
Thanks
time.
so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. You must be getting tired of doing that.
It's only day one.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's
Well, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't envy you. Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much.
No, it's not. Thank you. Your last one's here when you're ready.
Okay, I actually have two.
Yes, Becky's doing both.
Oh, they're doing both. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay.
And she's a very nice lady. She does a lot for the town. She's on several boards, so
All right.
she should be nice.
Okay, all right.
You need anything? You're good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Make it. We're almost there.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Are you Becky?
I am Becky.
Hi, Becky. I'm Peter Rupert.
Hi, Kathleen.
So let me, I just want to tell you that we're going to be recording here. Okay? Yes.
This is just a backup document for one of the properties.
So I'm just going to read it. I got a bit of a script to read here. All right. So this is Peter Rupert. Today is March 2nd, 2021. And it is 8:45. And this will be a hearing session of the Board of Assessment Appeals. Okay. Becky, I am Peter Rupert, and I'm one of the 9 members of the Board of Assessment Appeals, and I'm going to hear your appeal today. Your hearing is also being recorded. What I would like to do right now is just to confirm some information from you. All right, so this is Appeal 293.
Which one do you want to do first?
I have 293.
293 was 8:30, and then 292 is 8:45.
Yeah. So 293, and the property you're appealing is located at 2005 Fairfield Beach Road.
Correct.
Okay, and the property owner of this property is Rebecca Bennell.
That's myself.
Okay, and the town has appraised this property at $1,617,800.
Correct.
And you're asking for a reduction of that appraised value to $1,375,000.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. And okay, so, and I'm just going to confirm that you're the owner of this property. So if you would just state your name for the record and whether and that you are the owner.
Yes, I am the owner of both 2005 Fairfield Beach Road and when you get to 2008 Fairfield Beach Road. I own both.
Okay. And just state your name for me.
My name is Becky Bunnell, Rebecca Bunnell.
Okay. All right. And Rebecca, I just need to swear you in. Do you solemnly swear? Okay, if you would raise your right hand, please. All right. And do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal, now in question, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I so affirm.
Okay. Thank you. And over there at the corner of the table there is just a document. If you would sign that just to confirm your being sworn in. And I'll put that for both. Actually, if you would fill out two, just one for one, put the number for one and then.
You want me to fill out?
Yeah, please. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So what I would like to do is just to hear 293 first, and then we'll go to the 292 appeal.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so tell me when they're ready.
Yep. And you're telling me this document that you gave me is just for 293?
That is for 293.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so this is your opportunity to provide testimony as to why you believe the market value of your home on October 1st, 2020 was $1,375,000, and not the value assigned by the town. The market value is what your home most likely would have sold for on that date. Please try to be as succinct as possible. All right? So, please.
Okay.
Sure.
The primary reason I'm appealing the assessment is the house value. Although I do want to make an aside, I do believe that the land value is very confusing in the way the appeal was done. My section of the beach was all raised by a 19.6%, and right next door to me was raised only by 7.5%, and then another section of the beach was all raised by 7.5%, so it doesn't seem like there was a fair, or certainly it was a very obtuse way of being able to calculate land value. But that aside, I wasn't able to prepare an appeal on land value because I don't know how they did it. But the house value, I do feel like it is a little bit overassessed compared to comparable sales. So I was told that the best way to do an appeal is to look at comparable sales. The sale that I'd like to focus on is about 7 doors down, so it's very comparable. It's right in my neighborhood. It is 2087. It's the first house on the chart of the backup page I just gave you. It was sold in April, within the window, April of 2020. It was sold for $1,375, which is why that is the amount I'm putting down as what I think the total appeal should be, the total value, appraised value of my house should be, because that house I feel is very comparable to ours. I have 3 bedrooms, 4 baths. I have 3,154 square feet according to the card. They have 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. So they have an extra bedroom. They have 2,747 square feet. But what I'm proposing is that I feel like the square footage that is listed on our card for our house doesn't represent the actual living space that we have. So we're being assessed for a full 3/4 story with 896 square feet of living space, but most of that 3/4 story is used for storage. And those are the photos that I have provided on this document. You can see these rooms we're storing a bunch of extra stuff all in these rooms. We are using one of the rooms for a COVID office. The front part of that room is being used for a COVID office. So that is usable, livable space. But the rest of it is being storage or mechanical rooms. So I feel like I'm being over-assessed for a 3/4 floor where you can't really see it in these photos. Well, you kind of can. In the first photo, you can see how the roof slants down. You can't even, I can't stand at the far side of that room where it slants down because I'm not allowed to build. The highest point of the room is 6 feet 11 inches. And so the slant down one is like 5 something, and I'm 5'10". So you can't really, these are not what I would consider livable space, and we're certainly not using them as livable space. So if you take that 896 away from the 3154 that's on my rate card, we have 2258 square feet. And that 2258 square feet is actually, almost 500 square feet less than the comparable I'm giving you, the 2087, which sold for $1,375. If you look at the appraised house value, that's what I've provided on this chart. Our house is being appraised at $514,700. We renovated in 2016. Their house that sold just in April of 20 is only being appraised at $33,900. They renovated. They spent $175,000 renovating in 2020. So it's equally as, if anything, theirs is more renovated than ours, and we're being assessed close to $200 more per house than theirs. So I'm using that as my primary comparable because I think, and they have 4 bedrooms, we only have 3. So I really feel like we are overappraised in-house. That's my main part of the appeal. I did show some others just so you could sort of see what some of these were all within the window that we're supposed to give. So 2155, it's not very comparable. It's a smaller house. And 1359, again, it's a smaller house, but they're considerably lower, as you can see on that chart, in house value. And they're all on the beach. So I think from that standpoint, I guess you can kind of say they're comparable. But they're in one case it's 300 lower in house value. The other case it's, again, 200 lower in house value. So I feel like my house is overappraised. That's my testimony for 2005 Fairfield Beach Road. I can move on to 2008 now if you'd like.
Well, I just want to looking at the pictures here, going back. So you're saying that you stated that the
So I provided a floor plan and I showed pictures of what it looks like.
Yeah. So the
I mean, it's like we don't have attics in the beach because we've got the 3/4 floor, so people don't get assessed for their attics, and we're using this like an attic. So I think that's the way I think of it, and I'm being assessed for the square footage as if it were real living space, and it's not. It's like an attic, particularly given the ceiling height. But there's also the usage.
Okay. And the ceiling height throughout that is throughout these spaces is the 6 feet 11.
The highest part of the ceiling is 6 feet 11.
The highest part, right.
The lowest part is under 6 feet. It's 5. I am 5'10", and I can not stand up tall completely. I mean, I don't switch a lot, but I still have to switch a little.
Right. Right. any other?
That's my rationale. So again, I'm using it, I'm using the value as a comparable, and it's a comparable, it's about 7 houses away from me. So it felt to me the most comparable to give you. And I think the difference is the listed rate card square footage of my house captures the 3/4 story, which I think shouldn't be considered living space. And that's why I was requesting the house be lowered.
All right. So I just want to I'm just going to repeat the script here just so we are, official. All right. So I'll present the petition for this property to the board. A majority of the board is a deliberation session for consideration and vote. You're going to be notified by mail of the board's decision within 7 days, and all decisions will be made in March. If your appeal was denied, you can come back next year if you were granted a reduction. You cannot appeal until the next reevaluation in 5 years. If you don't agree with the board's decision, you can take the next step and appeal your decision in court, and directions on how to do that will be provided when you receive your decision. All right?
Okay.
So are you ready to move on to the next?
Yes, although I didn't know how many people I was going to be meeting with, so I do have 2 extra copies if you want to give them to the board, just because that way you don't have to make copies.
Yeah.
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
Saves the town money. I just made 3 on I didn't know how many to make. All right, so 2008, Fairfield Beach Road.
All right. Let's just give me one moment here, because I just going to need to read in a couple things into the record.
Okay.
So I'll make sure I have it right. So again, this is Peter Rupert. Today's date is March 2nd, 2021, and it is 8:58 p.m. And so I just want to confirm again with you the information that I want to do. Sorry. Okay. I'm here with, is it Bunnell?
Bunnell, yeah.
Okay. I'm here with Rebecca Bunnell, and she has already been sworn in previously, and she now is going to be appealing, speaking on appeal number 292, all right, which is 2008 Fairfield Beach Road.
Okay.
So go ahead.
All right, this one was...
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I just have to confirm, again, the data here. So this is 2008 Fairfield Beach Road we're talking about. You are the owner, Rebecca Bunnell. The town valued this property at $67,900. You're asking it to be reduced to $45,000?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. All right. So.
Right. This one was harder for me because there are no comparable sales. This is a non-saleable lot. It cannot be divorced from the lot on the other side of the street. I didn't know how to, you tell us that the way we should be doing these appeals is showing comparables. There are 0 comparables. There are no way to say what is the value of this. So I stepped back and said, what do I, if I were to be able to sell it, what kind of utility can I imagine anyone using? And I could say, all right, someone from Upper Fairfield wants to have a parking space on the creek that they can have a boat. Yay, all right, so maybe they'd buy that. But my particular lot can park 3 cars across. It has a 5-foot wall, and so you can't get to the creek. We share that wall, that bulkhead, with 3 other people. It's a lengthy bulkhead. You would have to build steps up and then a ladder down. We can't have a dock because at low tide it's a mud flat, and in 2 hours either side of low tide it's a mud flat. You cannot put a boat there. We don't have a dock, obviously, but you can't even have a dock. So I don't understand the utility of why anyone would even want this lot. They would be able to drive their car and look at a 5-foot wall. They can't even get to the creek. So this was very hard for me to put a value on. So the reason I chose this value is it was last year's value. And I didn't contest that. So I guess I would have to say that if I didn't contest that, I must have been okay with it. But I'm not even sure that's a good value. I tried to look at what a non-buildable lot would cost, and the last one I could find was 216 Riverside, which the town sold. It wasn't on the water. The town sold for, it shows on the vision appraisal as 26,000. I had thought it was 22. I'd read in something, but whatever it was in the 20s. And that was this little parcel of land that was double the size of my lot, but again, an on-saleable lot, and no utility other than being next to someone. So it was very hard for me to do a value on this. I did try to look at it from the standpoint of square footage of this lot versus a buildable lot, but that is really hard because it's like a buildable lot you can put a house on and you can live there and you can do things, and there's a sale value and there's a true intrinsic value to that. So I did find some. 1492 is a buildable lot that sold for $58 a square foot in November of 2020, and I'm $50 a square foot. So that's basically saying that my lot is virtually the same value as a buildable lot, which doesn't seem fair at all. Because if I can't sell it and I can't build on it and you can't get to the creek, it's basically for parking, and I already have parking on my side of the street. I can park under my house, I can park in my driveway. I don't need that lot, and I couldn't sell it even if I wanted to. So that's why I am requesting a reduction. I put 45,000 only because that's roughly what it was last time. I don't even think that's really a good value, but I didn't know what else to put. And I gave some other examples on this sheet of other buildable lots and their square footages. If that's helpful, I think 500 or 1094 was $55 a square foot in June of 2019, which is just before the period, so that I'm not sure if that technically counts. 500 Fairfield Beach Road is not in our section of the beach. It's actually on the other side of Reef Road, but that was a buildable lot of $86 a square foot in October of 2019. 2218 Fairfield Beach Road is a buildable lot. That doesn't really count because it actually has, that lot actually has the beach across from it. That was $120 a square foot in August of 2020, and 1690 Fairfield Beach Road is a buildable lot.
1690?
1690, which actually that one was very expensive. That was $254, which that feels like the right amount for a buildable lot because, I mean, there's a value to a buildable lot. You can put a house on it, you can live there. So the net is that I wasn't sure how to value this. The first one I read to you was 1492, which sold, as I said, in November of 2020, was $58 a square foot, and that was a buildable lot versus mine at $50 a square foot. So it doesn't feel right that my non-buildable lot should be valued the same as a buildable lot. And that was the best I could do because this was very hard to put value on. I didn't know what to do. There's no comparables.
And currently, how is it being used?
Occasionally for parking, for visitor parking. Occasionally my husband will park there. We have parking on our side already, but we do occasionally park over there. And there is a small little shed there that we store chairs in and garbage cans and stuff like, stuff. It's not very big. It's I think it's 8 by 8. It might be 6 by 8. I'm not sure, but it's a very small little shed. Which got wet during Sandy, and the bottom of the shed is actually rotting out, but it does flood down there.
Okay. Again, this will be brought to, if you have anything else.
No, that was it. Okay. This one was hard. I didn't know how to value it other than to get rough comparables.
Just again, I'll bring your petition to our majority of our board at a deliberation session. They'll be notified by mail of that decision, and hopefully those will all be made in March. If your appeal was denied, you can come back next year. If you're granted a reduction, you cannot come back until the next reevaluation. In 5 years, if you don't agree with the board's decision, you can take the next step and appeal to the court. and directions will be given to you on how to do that. All right, so if you have any more questions, we are...
And thank you for your service to the town. This is a late night, and I'm sure this is going to be an awful lunch for you. I don't envy you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Have a
All
good
right,
night.
thanks so much, Rebecca. Good night.